Hello guys, and welcome back to my video series on programming with modern FORTRAN. Now in this video we are going to be looking at control structures. Now in the last video we talked about the logical data type, okay, and I explained how the logical data type actually works. The logical data type actually have just two possible values. We say it has a true or a false. You can go ahead and check the previous video in order for you to understand the logical data type very well. So in this video we are going to be making use of the concept of the logical data type and also what we call relational operators. That's what we are going to be looking at. I explained a brief of relational operators, but yeah, we'll go in depth into relational operators. So we are looking at control structures. Now what are control structures? In every program, almost all program languages, not all actually, almost all, they have these structures that actually help to better organize your code very well. They are called control structures, and we have three of them. We have the sequential structure. That's the first one. So all the programs we've written so far, they're actually sequential. Now they're sequential because the interpreter, or in this case in FORTRAN, the compiler, would execute every line of code. Okay, when the compiler is executing every line of code, it's not carrying out any tests and also is not repeating a process. You call that a sequential structure. Okay, every line of code has to be executed. But we also have what we call the branch. Okay, the branch also called the conditional structure. Now branch or conditional structure are where you have options, you have conditions that needs to be satisfied in order for something to happen. For example, in a store there could be a discount based on the amount of things you've bought, but you may not even know that that kind of discount exists until you've bought something up to that particular amount. Okay, they could say, okay, if you buy up to something worth let's say 500,000, then you have a discount, maybe a 5% discount, a 10% discount. Otherwise you're going to pay the normal fee. Okay, now they may not make that obvious to you until you have you've bought something up to that, and then you see that you have a discount. Or tell you, okay, based on our policy, since you bought up to this amount, you've been given this kind of discount, so this is what you have to pay. So it gets triggered, okay, due to a particular event, the event of you buying up to that threshold they want from you. That's what happens. So that's what you call the conditional controls. That's what you call the branch structure. Or another instance is you trying to make withdrawal. Let's say you're trying to make withdrawal from the ATM or so. Now the first thing, when you put your amount there you want to withdraw, the first thing that will be done after it must have identified you that okay, you're the owner of the ATM and the rest of that, it needs to check how much you have as your balance. If the amount you have as your balance is up to what you're trying to withdraw, then the withdrawal will be possible. You're going to make a withdrawal. But if it's not up to the amount you're trying to withdraw, and then it will decline. Usually what you see is insufficient fund or so. So that's still one of the application of the conditional or the branch structure. Then finally we have what we call the loop or the iterative structure. Now the iterative structure is used when a given sequence of code, you have two or more codes, possibly one code, yeah, you want to repeat this sequence of code, this very statement, you want to repeat it multiple times. Okay, now there are cases where you have a loop and yet the loop will not even run once. There are cases where you have the loop, the loop will run only once, and there are cases where the loop will run infinite number of times until you try to stop it or so. But generally they are called loops. Okay, just imagine you have to make payments via your bank account. You want to make payment to 100 persons, and then you're sending the same amount to these 100 persons, and the only difference is their bank account, their bank details, and possibly their names. Okay, so for the fact that you're doing the same thing for too many persons, maybe 100 persons, if you can automate that, if you're into that kind, you can just automate it and make sure it makes it transfer to these persons. Okay, because all you need to do is to put, it's just going to take the account details and then it will repeat that same process of sending different amounts to the various persons you're asking it to send to. And that's just the concept behind the loop or the iterative control structure. So In the next video, we are going to dive deep into, so far we've been looking at the sequential structure. All we've been doing so far is based on the sequential structure, okay? But in this next video, we are going to start looking at the branch or the conditional control structure and how we actually make use of it. And for that reason, we need to understand what we mean by relational operators. We've seen what we call arithmetic operators, but we need to understand relational operators for us to better understand and appreciate what we are going to do in the branch and conditional structure. So as usual, guys, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.